This is WKYT This Morning.
Good morning. Welcome into you. I'm Rebecca Smith.
I'm Bill Bryant. It's so good to have you with us here on Monday, January 25th. We have hopefully weathered the weather now, and folks are starting to get back to normal.
Yeah, now at 6 a.m. we are digging out from a major snowstorm. We're live with a look at some of the trouble spots around Kentucky.
Check those out. Also a rough ride in the sky for dozens of passengers. A plane makes an emergency landing after severe turbulence injures 7 people.
And we're looking at those temperatures, holding on to the 20s this morning. A couple of teens too, but we will warm up very rapidly. We get into your afternoon, 42 degrees. You gotta love that. So a lot of melting going on, and that sticks with us the next few days. We're gonna talk about those numbers if we continue to rise coming up in just a few minutes.
We will see you then. We thank you.
Of course, it has stopped snowing.
Finally, we wondered, didn't we?
But Friday's major winter storm still causing some problems.
Yeah, right. We have more than 100 closings and delays this morning on WKYT.com. You'll want to check that out. By the way, it includes Fayette County operating on a 2-hour delay today. Again, Fayette County schools open, but on a 2-hour delay. But Madison and Clark counties, also Jessamine County, among those that are closed today. WKYT's Mark Barber is live in Richmond with more on how things are going over there. Hey, good morning, Mark.
Good morning, Bill. And they are still closed here in Madison County because they're still working to dig out of many of their very snowy and very slick side streets. Now, Eastern Kentucky University, they are operating on a normal schedule today, but their extended campuses are on a 2-hour delay. Now, many main roads here in Richmond, we're here off of exit 90, they look like they are just fine, but once you start to get into those neighborhood streets, those side roads, those are still very slick. And in fact, the farther south you go, down toward Berea, those areas are even worse. So it could be quite some time before school buses are able to safely navigate some of those country roads, some of those side streets. Now, one other concern that drivers will have this morning, if they're heading out in Madison County and really any other place in central Kentucky, that's going to be ice. We have spotted several patches of black ice lining parking lots, lining streets. What's happened is a lot of this snow that is now melting, that refroze overnight, so you are going to really want to watch for those slick patches and maybe even take your time this morning because, again, a lot of the roads are still slick, if not icy. Now, there could be some relief on the way for road crews and people who are maybe hoping to get their kids out of the house and back to school. That's because we are expecting to see much warmer temperatures far above freezing today, so maybe that'll help road crews clear out some of these still very slick and snowy side streets. That's the latest here in Richmond. I'm Mark Barber, WKYT.
All right, Mark, thank you very much. Now, in Bourbon County, crews have been working for almost 12 hours to get a water leak over there under control this morning. Drivers in downtown Paris will have to avoid High Street between 8th and 14th Streets until the repairs are made. It is not clear what caused that water main to break. It has been leaking since around 8 o'clock last night. That's caused a lot of slick spots, as you might imagine, around the area.
In Pulaski County, many are still trying to dig themselves out from all the snow. Officials there are warning drivers to be careful. Overnight temperatures caused some of the roads there to freeze again. Many are ready to get out of the house, but road crews are still busy and at it.
This morning, we're getting a look at some of the winter storm damage at marinas in southern Kentucky. It looks to be severe in many cases. In Russell County at Jamestown Marina, many docks are underwater because of the weight of the snow. At nearby State Dock, owners say the covered slips above the boats are under pressure, but so far have not caved in. At the Paintsville Lake Marina in Johnson County, the snow caused a roof to collapse, damaging several boats. Some are starting to sink. Other boats are holding up parts of the marina, including the dock. Remember now, we have a full list of closings and delays. You can check that anytime at WKYT.com.
Happening today, a man accused in a recent Lexington murder case is headed back to court. Donald Rourke Jr. is accused of killing 28-year-old Corenz White outside an apartment on Red Mile Road earlier this month. Rourke's preliminary hearing is today. We could hear police testify about the evidence they have against him. Somerset police are still looking for a man involved in a weekend shooting. Police say Randy Kaufman shot 38-year-old Robert Collier in the chest at the Sunset Mobile Home Park. Collier was rushed to Lake Cumberland Hospital. We do not know his condition this morning. Police released this photo of Kaufman. He will be charged with assault once he's caught.
A Whitley County burglary suspect is accused of smuggling drugs into the jail. Deputies say Samuel Hatfield broke into the Dollar General store in Woodbine early Saturday morning. They found him at a home nearby, along with $2,600 worth of stolen items. Deputies say Hatfield caused about $13,000 in damage just breaking into the store. And when they took him to jail, the deputy jailer found 2 plastic bags on him containing what is thought to be meth. A snowplow driver is fortunate that he was not hurt when his truck caught fire. That happened on Kentucky 581 near the Johnson-Lawrence County line. The State Transportation Cabinet says the driver noticed smoke coming from one of the wheels, and when he tried to put the flames out, the back end caught on fire.
Now, your zone-by-zone forecast with meteorologist Micah Harris.
Yeah, really good looking start to the work week. And look, we finished off the work week last week on an awful note. A lot of snow. It was 24-hour snow. 24-hour snow. It never stopped. And once you woke up, it was snowing. Once you went to bed, it was still snowing. But you know what? We still have some of that snow laying on the ground outside on some of these roadways. Obviously, it's there in the yards and some of these piles from the snow plows. But let me tell you this. Snowplows don't get every spot, okay? So just because the snow or the plow has come through your neighborhood does not mean you won't have slick spots. There are still some slick spots. I saw those coming on into work. Just keep that in mind. Live Sky camera there is your shot. The main highways and byways look really nice here in Lexington. I can vouch for that. I can't vouch for, say, Richmond or Danville or London. Those areas I just haven't been through, but nonetheless, I do expect a lot of these main roadways to be cleared away. 27 degrees there in Danville. 150 looks pretty good. Then you head down 127 and 27, and you're looking at some pretty decent conditions there too. However, you get off into Somerset at 19 degrees, Monticello at 15. Into that region, go off into Casey County too, Dunville area, then Waynesburg, southern portions of Lincoln County. There could be some freezing fog. We've heard about it the past couple of mornings. I expect it at least in some spots this morning too down south. Keep that in mind. By the afternoon, we're 42 degrees, 38 to about 43. That is the call for today. Either way, what's the key there? We're above freezing. A lot of melting going on today, especially with that sunshine. Then overnight and into tomorrow morning, temperatures stay above freezing, and here comes some rain. It's a weak system. You won't get much out of it, but at least it's some rain, right? Kind of melt some of that snow too. Much needed milder air. We'll get into the afternoon in the 40s. Next few days, we're actually bumping up those temperatures too. So it looks pretty good next few days. Look at these pictures. You guys sent these in, Facebook pics of the day. That's Michael Hensley. What a neat photo that is. How cool is that? Some more. These are my top 6 that you guys put on my Facebook page that were liked the most. Michael's was about 200 likes. This one was about 350 likes. Picture perfect down in southern Kentucky. It's just gorgeous. That's from Kathy Cox. And then this one right here, how neat is that? What perfect timing. Look at the bottom of your screen there in the snow. Yes, a deer, a doe, a deer, a female deer running across the yard. How neat is that? And that's Pat Howard. Really cool pictures. I'll show you my top 3. One of them getting over 1,000 likes on Facebook.
Wow.
Really cool pictures you guys have seen. And keep sending them in. I'll keep showing them off.
You know, it really does make for beautiful scenes, all that snow.
Absolutely. It's gorgeous. It's just not fun to be in,
yeah.
right?
Each morning we bring you weather and traffic. Here's Officer Don right now with a look at what's happening out there on the roads.
Hey, good morning. Well, as Micah was just telling you, it looks like the main roads are in pretty good shape. A lot of that has melted out of the way, but you don't want to get caught off guard this morning. There's still some patches of ice and snow to deal with in different places, especially south of us. So be extra careful. I'd like to get through this without a collision this morning, weather-related at least. Let's get a live look outside at Lexington rush hour traffic and how things are moving. Really nothing in the red right now, so the interstate, we get all clear there and on the inner and outer loops of the circle. Drive times this morning, we're in decent shape compared to what we were dealing with Friday with a normal ride-in from Nicholasville. No problems coming in right now from Harrodsburg. And it looks like even from Paris Pike, that's all clear with no major delays to deal with. Of course, we'll keep you up to date throughout the morning. Now back to you in the studio.
All right, and what a change from Friday morning when it was really looking tough around here right about now.
It was a stressful kind of situation.
It certainly was. Hey, it's good to have you along Monday morning on WKYT. So much more news is on the way.
A Lexington man is leaving for Flint, Michigan today with hundreds of gallons of donated water. How you can help out in 6 minutes.
The big dig on the East Coast has already begun, but there are still thousands of cars buried under snow. Why officials don't want people to dig themselves out. I'm Brian Webb in New York. That story's coming up.
Welcome back in. 6:13 is the time this morning. Well, millions of folks along the East Coast headed back to work this morning following a crippling winter snowstorm.
Yeah, a lot of emergency travel bans have been lifted, but as Brian Webb reports this morning, getting around on slick and snow-covered roads is already proving tricky.
Federal offices and schools in the nation's capital remain closed this morning as people in the area continue to dig out from under 2 feet of snowfall. Crystal Lucas got a hand uncovering her buried car from a Good Samaritan.
Even on a sunny day, they probably wouldn't even say hello. But in a time of need, people are here to help.
In Virginia and Maryland, residents did their best to chip away at the mounds of snow ahead of the start of the work week. 70-year-old Steve Meinkoff spent hours shoveling out his entire driveway, only to have passing plow trucks undo all of his work.
I'm almost so outraged by the state, I'm liable to have a stroke now thinking about it.
While much of New York City came back to life after record snowfall totals, residents here in Queens are still dealing with unplowed roads.
We're all wondering what happened to the sanitation department, why they didn't care about these blocks. You know, they took care of the main roads.
The impact is also being felt at many of the nation's busiest airports. Carol Alves and her friends have been trying to get home to New Jersey in time for her milestone birthday today.
This is not what I thought my 30th birthday was going to be like, but, you know, it's a story.
Airports along the East Coast are slowly getting back to normal, but hundreds of flights have already been canceled for today. Brian Webb for CBS News, New York.
All right, she'll get over that 30th birthday, by the way. Also, more than 24 deaths in 10 states are being associated with the storm. That includes 2 here in Kentucky. The heaviest snowfall, 42 inches, was reported in Glengarry, West Virginia. The storm also caused major flooding in New Jersey, where hundreds of thousands of customers also lost power. American Airlines says 3 flight attendants and 4 passengers were taken to a hospital after a plane flying from Miami to Milan encountered severe turbulence. The plane made an emergency landing in Newfoundland, Canada. The seatbelt light was on when the Boeing 767, carrying 192 passengers and 11 crew members, encountered the severe turbulence. One passenger said the pilot described some of the injuries as severe.
The pilot says he never took a bump like that.
And it just kind of,
the plane actually dropped, you know,
rolled on its side and everything went flying and people and yeah, so it was pretty intense.
The injured were taken to a local hospital for treatment. American Airlines has not commented on the extent of the injuries.
Well, a massive manhunt is underway in Southern California for 3 men who escaped a maximum security prison. The 3 men managed to cut through a metal screen and climb into a plumbing tunnel. From there, they managed to reach the roof, where they used a makeshift rope to rappel down 4 stories. All 3 escapees have violent histories. One of them is awaiting trial for murder. As the investigation into their escape continues, police are asking for the public's help finding them. Well, the water crisis in Flint, Michigan continues. Michigan's Attorney General plans to give an update on his investigation today. The city's water supply was contaminated with lead when the financially struggling city started using water from the Flint River in 2014 to save money. People in Flint are being urged to use bottled water, and today a Lexington man plans to deliver up some help. WKYT's Mike Byer is at our live desk with more on this.
Mentioned, Rebecca, the water situation in Flint, Michigan isn't getting any better. This has sparked many people in Lexington to take action. According to the AP, the financially struggling city switched from Detroit's municipal water system and began drawing from the Flint River in 2014 to save money. The water wasn't properly treated to prevent lead from pipes from leaching into the supply, so anyone who drank city tap water was exposed to lead, with children being at the greatest risk. This is where Lexington hip-hop artist Divine Karama and his wife come into play. The married couple, along with many volunteers, filled the U-Haul yesterday with more than 500 cases of water. Water they'll be handing over to families in need. Karama and his wife are leaving this morning before driving the U-Haul nearly 400 miles to Flint. Now, if you would like to donate but can't make it out before they leave today, Karama says you can donate to his PayPal account at divinekarama859@gmail.com. That's DEVINECARAMA859@gmail.com. He says the extra donations will go towards gas for the trip and extra water. At the live desk, Mike Byer, WKYT.
Mike, thank you so much. It's 6:18 now on WKYT this morning, and experts say the weekend blizzard along the East Coast could have an economic impact of up to $850 million, with restaurants, theaters, and some retailers taking the brunt of the hit. But one expert says that overall the impact might be a wash because many businesses will have made extra money from people stocking up in advance on food, shovels, and other items. Chris Christopher, a U.S. macroeconomist, says the retail stores and movie theaters were closed over the weekend. He expects more people shopped online and probably ordered movies via Netflix. Drivers are still seeing some great prices at the pump. The Lundberg survey says the average price of gasoline has plunged 14 cents over the last 2 weeks. It's now $1.91 for a gallon. In Lexington, the average even lower at $1.65 a gallon. But experts warn not to get too complacent. That price drop may soon end as crude costs are starting to go up again. We're tracking a consumer alert that could have you checking your refrigerator. The CDC is investigating a listeria outbreak linked to Dole salad packages. One person died and 12 people have been hospitalized after getting sick with listeria. The salad was sold under various brand names, including Dole, Fresh Selections, Simple Truth, and President's Choice. The manufacturing code begins with the letter A. One big bank now employs more women than men. Barclays says 51% of its workers are now female, but men still make up the majority of the top positions. And Keurig is wanting to make its single-serve K-Cups recyclable by 2020. Right now, the cups are made of mixed plastic and other materials. It makes it difficult to recycle. The company says it is trying to see if using a more recyclable material will affect the taste. So that would be an issue, but they're working on it.
Yeah, that's a good thing. WKYT This Morning is just getting started. The matchup is set. A look at which teams will be playing in Super Bowl 50 and how they got there.
Oh, it's all about the temperatures the next few days. We'll be above freezing, but you guys want to know, is it going to be 33, 34, or are we talking about 43, 44? I'll have that, and I'll also have some 50s in the forecast. That's coming up.
Good morning. Welcome back into WKYT This Morning, Monday to dig out. It's 6:23 now.
That's what we're all trying to do. Slowly starting to thaw things out, but there are still lots of closures actually because of this weekend's major snowstorm.
And that's what's trending at this hour. Fayette County will be operating on a 2-hour delay this morning. Fayette County schools open, but on a 2-hour delay. Now, UK and EKU's Richmond campus operating as normal. Delays at EKU's extended campuses. Drivers everywhere, though, need to be on the lookout this morning for black ice.
Gushing water causing slick spots in downtown Paris. Crews have been working on a broken water main along High Street since 8 o'clock last night. Drivers are encouraged to avoid that area between 8th and 14th Streets.
Good looking roadways for the main roadways, not so much the back roads and also neighborhoods. Most of those were taken care of. However, we're still running into some slick spots. I can tell you that and vouch for that because I actually ran into those as I was leaving the neighborhood this morning. Most of the roads pretty much plowed, but there are still some spots you're going to be running into. Mountain Parkway looks pretty good, 27 degrees. That goes for Lexington too. Then you work your way into Frankfort, Florence. All looks well as you travel up 75 and heading up towards Cincinnati. Now it's a chilly start this morning. We're at 26. We'll get above freezing there by noontime. Also some sunshine will be involved. Those winds gusty out of the south. It's helping us out big time. We'll be at 42 degrees later on this afternoon. A lot of melting going on today, so there's some good news for you. If you're heading into Lexington from Nicholasville, normal drive time. We come from Winchester and also Paris, Frankfort. Everything is looking pretty good. Richmond coming in there just above 30 minutes. So things are looking just fine, guys, as people are traveling off into Lexington on the main roadways. But like I said, watch out for some of the black ice and also some freezing fog down south as well.
Yeah, easy does it as you head in this morning. It's 6:25 now. Well, the matchup is set. The Carolina Panthers and the Denver Broncos will face off in Super Bowl 50.
And Carolina cruised past the Arizona Cardinals 49-15, locking up the NFC Championship. The AFC title game was much tighter. Veteran quarterback Peyton Manning led Denver to an upset over defending Super Bowl champs, the New England Patriots, 20-18. For the Broncos, it's their record-tying 8th trip to the Super Bowl. You can catch it February 7th right here on WKYT. A lot of
should be a
happy
great
Broncos fans, I know. You know,
Right.
some of them very happy. Well, it was a white wedding, but not necessarily the one that bride Allison Hams had envisioned.
Right. See, she had planned to be married Saturday night in New York City. Then they got snowed out by that massive blizzard that hit the big town. So their Saturday night nuptials gave way to a Sunday morning marriage. Hames said that there was kind of this nauseous moment after she got word on Saturday that the restaurant hosting their wedding had to close. She and Walter Cook still got to tie the knot yesterday. That means that their wedding rings are not engraved with the right date. So that's a little bit of an issue, but something they can always talk about, right?
Yeah, a good story to tell.
So their anniversary is this. No, it's not. It's the next day.
It's an interesting coat over her wedding dress. I've never seen that.
Well, you do what you have to,
Wedding
right?
day coat.
Situation like that. Okay.
She looks beautiful.
Yeah. Good to have you with us bright and early on your Monday morning. The dig out day is underway.
When we return, a fire ripped through a barn at a Scott County farm. How the Thoroughbred Retirement Center is reaching out to the public for help.
Well, of that, also Tuesday night's Mega Millions jackpot is $48 million. Wednesday night's Powerball jackpot is $75 million. Stay with us here on WKYT.